morning, guys. Here with you on a kind of dreary and rainy October day in Western New York. Leaves starting to fall, although not with really good foliage, unfortunately, at least not yet, due to the really mild weather that we have had this fall. And, it's the reason why I'm still wearing short sleeves. It's kind of strange, but it is a little bit cooler today, cooler than I expected when I chose my outfit. But at any rate, I was thinking about the topic for today, and what I thought of is, just what I generally do when I write and when I do these videos is just what's on my heart at that moment. And to be honest, what's on my heart this week is worrying, but not so much worrying as how to manage worrying. I have a kind of personality that is an anxious personality, a nervous Nelly. I wish that this was something that I could change about myself, but if there's anything that I have learned now that I'm 40, it is that a person is probably not going to change at this point of your life, and these inherent things about your own personality you probably can't change. However, just based upon life experience and lessons learned from many mistakes in my case, hopefully you can learn how to manage it better in terms of whatever it is that you're thinking about your personality. So for me, worrying. And so let's talk about that today. Worrying and how can we better channel that energy. And so this morning, I have to start with an anecdote because that's just kind of what I do. So let me start back with last night. Last night, I had Anne, who was acting a little sickly, so I was worried about her. And Mike and Henry had rehearsal because they're in a play together this fall. Isn't that precious? Very excited about that. It's going to be premiering right after right after Halloween. So they had rehearsal, and I was home with Anne, and so I was babying her. She had a cough, and she was complaining of a sore throat, and so I was taking care of her, gave her a bath, got her all in a warm sleeper and with Vicks on her throat and all of that good stuff. But I was thinking, I wonder, one, I hope she's not going to wake herself and the rest of the household up coughing. This is such a part of our lives at this stage in life. So little sleep, so much coughing with young children, bringing home illnesses. So I was hoping that everybody was going to sleep well, but I was wondering if she'd have to stay home from school today and how, then I would have to, rearrange a lot of things and take her to the doctor. And so at any rate, last night I was thinking about that. I wasn't sure what the outcome of that was going to be. So I get her to bed and the boys are at rehearsal. And so I pull out my music and my dance props and I start practicing. And I danced for probably a half an hour, maybe a little bit more. Because I'm worried about a gig that I have this weekend, and I won't go into. I'm sure I'll write about it in another post. It's going to be amusing. I'm sure it's going to be amusing, but I'm worried. I am worried. I am very intimidated about this event that I am slated to dance at this weekend. So I put on my music and I ran through my playlist. 13 minutes is a very long time when you're dancing by yourself. And so I was, anxious about what I was going to do and where I was going to use my sword. And, the sword in and of itself is enough to make my heart stop with worry. And so I was practicing and planning all that out. And then the guys came home and I was talking to them and I was unwinding, relaxing. That was all good. I heard Anne cough once in the night, but she seemed okay. This morning, she got up. She was in good spirits. Throat wasn't bothering her. No fever. Coughing a little bit, not a lot. Lots of energy and an appetite. So she wanted to go to school, and I was okay with her going to school. So I got her ready. Mike took Henry. He's got 8 o'clock class today, so they're off early. Drive Anne to school, and I'm thinking, listening to my podcast. I'm thinking about all this stuff on my mind. I had to stop off at the store because we needed something for dinner, our recipe tonight, and I needed a couple other things. So I got those. Get to campus. Crowded because now it's later than usual, and so there's more people. I park and I realize I look at my phone, and I don't usually have a data package on my phone. It's a Wi-Fi only situation. So I had bumped it up. I had changed packages for the weekend because I was traveling, and the Wi-Fi at the Baltimore airport is horrible, which is where I lay over. And so I always get data, pay for data for the weekend because I want to be able to tweet. So I'm just that's just my thing. So, and I had forgotten to change it back, change my plan back. to save myself some money. And so I remembered. And so I was in the car and I thought, okay, I'm going to be really good. I'm going to do this right now so that I don't forget. So I did. And I sat in the car and I took care of that right from my phone. And then I got my stuff and I had to walk further because of the time. So I had to park further away, get it, unload all my stuff, boot up my computer, and I realized I didn't have my coffee mug. And it wasn't even a question that I was going to leave the coffee mug in the car. I had to go back for it. I wanted it. It has like a delicious mint flavored creamer in it. And so I thought, all right, now I'm going to have to walk back out there. And so I geared up. I got my coat. Very important. A person's keys are very important, right? These are my office keys, and I have locked them in my office more times than I can remember. And so I got a keychain that has John Paul II and Benedict XVI on the other side, dynamic duo there, and I haven't forgotten them since I put the keyring on. Please, Lord, let that continue to be the case. So I made sure I had this in my hand, and I grabbed my John Paul II chaplet because we're in the novena. And so I've been praying this every day, and so I thought, pray while I go. I'm being so efficient. I won't forget. So I have my keys, I have my chaplet, I have my coat on. Out I go. I get outside. And thankfully, by I think the sheer intercession of St. John Paul II, I remembered before I got all the way out to my car, which would have been another 5 minutes or so walking, that I didn't have my car keys. You know, I really worry sometimes about myself. It's like, is this the early onset of something very unfortunate? I don't know. But I went back in, got the car keys. I ran into somebody in the hallway, one of my colleagues who had to give me something. And so I had brought that back up to my office. Then I went down with all of the keys. I got my coffee mug and came back in. And I got my prayers in. I listened to my music I'm going to be dancing to this weekend because I'm really want that kind of in my head so I know it really, really well. So I was efficient, I guess. But when I'm worried about something, my head is just in a totally different place, like up in the sky. You know, it's on my mind, and I've got all these things swirling around in there, and I don't stay focused on any one thing. So this is my strategy. I'm not allowing myself to worry about anything unless it's right here in front of me that I have to tackle it right at that moment. So today, these are the things I have to do. So right now, I'm going to do item number 1. I'm not allowed to worry about any of that other stuff. And that's the way that I'm trying to handle it. One thing at a time. I mean, certainly one day at a time, but more importantly, one thing at a time. So it's like, okay, I've got to do this. Then I'll do that. I'm not going to even think about that until I'm finished with this. And for somebody with my level of anxiety, that really helps because, you know, then my mind doesn't swirl as much. I'm not necessarily as focused as I could be, but it doesn't allow my stomach to get that sick feeling in it, you know, just all of that other yucky stuff that goes along with being worried about something. It at least alleviates, like, oh no, I'm not allowed to do that. Focusing on this. And even if my head isn't quite as focused as it could be, at least I'm not feeling as terrible, I suppose, as you could with worry. So that's what I'm working on. And I got a bunch of stuff coming up in the next week that's like, all right, I'll get through it, you know. It's just stuff, it's just things, and we'll get there. Praying the novena, and that's helping. But how do you manage worry? Small things and large long-term things. You know, do you have any strategies for how you channel and things that you do? I'd love to know what you do. I need all the strategies that I can get. So write in, and I'll be writing about dancing and all that coming up. So prepare to be amused because I'm sure I'm going to make a fool of myself. So good. So I will be talking to you all soon. Write in with your worry strategies, and I'll see you soon. Bye.